Close your eyes for a moment. You are standing on a bridge. Beneath you, a wide brown river moves slowly under a gray English sky. The air smells of smoke, damp timber, and livestock. Bells ring somewhere in the distance. Not the polished chime of modern clock towers, but the heavy, uneven toll of medieval iron. There are no glass skyscrapers, no red buses, no electric lights. Instead, before you rises a forest of timber-framed houses, their upper floors leaning precariously over narrow streets below. Church spires pierce the skyline. Smoke curls from hundreds of chimneys. The year is 1500. This is London, not the global metropolis of today, but a compact, crowded, restless medieval city of perhaps 60,000 people. A city on the edge of transformation. In this video, using AI reconstruction guided by historical maps, Tudor records, and surviving medieval structures, we step back into London at the dawn of the 16th century, just before the Reformation, just before empire, just before everything changed. Let us begin where all life begins in London. The River Thames. Stand now on London Bridge. But not the bridge you know today. The bridge of 1500 is a bustling street suspended over water. Timber houses line both sides of the structure, some rising 4 or 5 stories high. Shops operate directly above the river. Butchers hang meat from wooden beams. Bakers sell coarse brown bread from open windows. The bridge itself groans under the weight of carts and pedestrians. Below, the Thames is crowded with small wooden boats ferrying passengers, barrels of ale, sacks of wool, and crates of imported wine. This river is everything. It is London's highway, marketplace, and sewer all at once. Great ships from the Hanseatic League dock along the northern bank. Flemish merchants unload cloth. French traders bring wine. English wool, the kingdom's most valuable export, leaves these shores bound for Europe. London in 1500 is not yet the capital of a vast empire, but it is already England's economic heart. Now step off the bridge into the city of London. Unlike modern London, the medieval city is still enclosed by ancient Roman walls built more than 1,000 years earlier. The gates, Ludgate, Newgate, Bishopsgate, close at night. Beyond these walls lies open countryside, small villages, monasteries, and fields. Westminster is technically separate. Southwark across the river is a lawless district of inns and entertainments. Inside the walls, space is precious. The streets are narrow and winding, following old Roman roads and organic growth rather than careful planning. There are no grand boulevards. Most roads are barely wide enough for 2 carts to pass. The houses lean inward, almost touching above the street. Upper floors are built outward to save space. In rain, the mud below becomes thick and foul. There is no sanitation system. Waste is thrown into the street or directly into the Thames. The smell is constant. And yet, this is one of the most powerful cities in Northern Europe. Rising above the rooftops is Old St. Paul's Cathedral. Not the Baroque masterpiece built after the Great Fire of 1666, but a massive Gothic structure with one of the tallest spires in Europe. Its stone tower dominates the skyline. Inside, light filters through stained glass. Merchants conduct business in the nave. Lawyers gather here. News spreads beneath its vaulted ceilings. Religion shapes every aspect of life in 1500 London. England is still fully Catholic. Monasteries own vast amounts of land. Priests influence politics. Church bells regulate time itself, calling citizens to prayer, marking hours, announcing death. No one yet knows that within a few decades, Henry VIII will break from Rome and tear this religious world apart. But in 1500, the old faith still stands firm. Walk now toward Cheapside. This is London's main marketplace. Stalls crowd the street. Butchers, fishmongers, cloth sellers, spice traders. Live chickens squawk in wicker cages. Fresh eels from the Thames wriggle in wooden tubs. The sound is overwhelming, shouting vendors, arguing customers, clanging metal from nearby blacksmith shops. Clothing reveals social rank instantly. Wealthy merchants wear wool cloaks trimmed with fur. Apprentices wear simple tunics. Laws known as sumptuary laws regulate what colors and fabrics each class may wear. London is not an equal society. It is rigidly structured. Nobles, clergy, merchants, craftsmen, laborers.
sky
Yet compared to
darkens.
much of Europe,
Aye, and the air
London
feels
is
heavy.
already unusually
troubles you?
commercial. Power is not only inherited, it can be earned through trade. The seeds of modern capitalism are quietly forming. In 1500, London is governed not by a king directly, but by powerful guilds and the Lord Mayor. Guilds control everything: who may practice a trade, who may sell goods, how prices are set. To become a master craftsman, one must first serve years as an apprentice. These guild halls are not just workplaces, they are political centers. London has a degree of self-governance unusual for its time. The crown needs London's money, and London knows it. This balance of power between monarch and merchant will shape England's future in ways few can yet imagine. But medieval London is not romantic. It is dangerous. Fires break out easily in tightly packed wooden houses. Disease spreads quickly. Plague outbreaks are still a living memory from the Black Death of the 14th century. Executions are public. At Tyburn, outside the city, criminals are hanged before large crowds.
I fear we are
Punishment
watched.
is not hidden, it is spectacle. And poverty is visible everywhere. Beggars line church steps. Orphans roam streets. Life expectancy is low. Survival depends on family, guild, or church support. Yet despite hardship, the city grows. Slowly, relentlessly. In 1500, London does not yet rule oceans. But ships are being built. Exploration is beginning. Only a few years earlier, John Cabot sailed west under the English flag. The idea of overseas expansion is stirring. London stands at the threshold. Still medieval. Still bound by church and guild. But change is coming. The Tudor
Spices from
dynasty
the Orient,
is newly
cloths from
established.
Flanders, wines from
Henry
Bordeaux,
VII
finest
sits
in
on
all
the
London.
throne, stabilizing a kingdom after decades of civil war. Peace brings trade. Trade brings ambition. And ambition will reshape this small walled city into something the world has never seen. Now let us cross the Thames again, this time heading south. Beyond the strict authority of the city walls lies Southwark. In 1500, Southwark exists in a gray zone, technically outside the city's direct control. Here, rules are looser. Inns line the road for travelers entering London. Taverns operate late into the night. It is noisier here, more unpredictable. Bear-baiting arenas attract crowds. Actors perform in temporary wooden stages. Gambling houses operate in back rooms. The church disapproves, yet the crowds keep coming. This district reflects another truth about London. It has always contained two personalities. One disciplined, commercial, orderly. The other restless, theatrical, and unruly. That dual character will later produce Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. But in 1500, the foundations of London's entertainment culture are already visible. Now travel west toward Westminster. Though separate from the City of London, Westminster is where royal authority resides. Westminster Hall stands immense and imposing, its hammer-beam roof one of the greatest architectural achievements of medieval England. Here, royal courts convene. Here, law is shaped. Here, Parliament gathers. In 1500, Henry VII rules cautiously. His reign follows decades of brutal civil war known as the Wars of the Roses. Stability is fragile. The Tudor dynasty is still new. The king depends heavily on London's merchants for loans and financial support. In return, the city enjoys privileges and economic freedom. This partnership between crown and commerce will become one of the defining forces of English history. Life in London moves by different rhythms than today. There are no mechanical clocks regulating daily routines for most people. Time is marked by church bells, sunrise, sunset, and the seasonal cycle. In winter, darkness falls early. Streets become dangerous. Lantern light flickers weakly against timber walls. In summer, daylight stretches long, and markets overflow with fresh produce brought in from surrounding villages. Agriculture still shapes urban life. London may be a city, but it depends entirely on the countryside. Carts loaded with grain, vegetables, and firewood enter through the city gates daily. Without constant supply, the population would starve within weeks. Listen closely. There are no engines, no industrial machinery. Instead, you hear the creaking of wooden wheels, the ringing of blacksmith hammers striking iron, the murmur of Latin prayers, the barking of dogs, the splash of oars in the Thames. The loudest sounds come from human voices, markets, arguments, sermons. London in 1500 is intimate. Crowded. Close. You are never far from another person. Yet beneath this daily routine lies constant vulnerability. Medical knowledge is limited. Physicians rely on humoral theory, balancing blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Outbreaks of sweating sickness periodically terrify the population. Plague remains a haunting memory and recurring threat. Clean water is scarce. Wells become contaminated. The Thames, lifeline of the city, also carries waste. Average life expectancy hovers around 30 to 40 years. Infant mortality is high. Survival depends on luck as much as resilience. Look carefully at the skyline again. Stone buildings, rare and expensive, belong to churches, guild halls, or the wealthiest merchants. Most Londoners live in timber houses with thatched or wooden roofs. Fire is a constant fear. Open hearths burn day and night. A single spark could ignite an entire neighborhood. And yet the city continues to build upward, squeezing more people into limited space. Wealth accumulates for some. Others struggle daily. Still, compared to many European cities, London offers opportunity. Trade routes expand. Cloth production thrives. Financial systems grow more sophisticated. Quietly, London prepares for something larger. In 1500, few could predict what the next decades would bring. Within 30 years, Henry VIII will break from the Catholic Church. Monasteries will be dissolved. Church lands will be confiscated and redistributed. Religious identity will fracture the nation. London will feel every tremor. The skyline will change. Institutions will collapse. New wealth will rise from confiscated land. The Reformation will not simply alter theology. It will reshape property, politics, and power. And London, already England's economic engine, will accelerate. Stand once more on London Bridge. Imagine the future rushing toward this moment. The Great Fire of 1666, centuries away, will erase much of this medieval landscape. Stone and brick will replace timber. Empire will expand across oceans. Ships will leave the Thames for India, Africa, and the Americas. Industrial smoke will darken the sky. Skyscrapers will rise where wooden houses once leaned. Yet beneath modern London's glass towers, the medieval street pattern remains. The curve of Cheapside, the path of the old Roman wall, the location of London Bridge. The city's bones are still there. London did not appear fully formed as a global capital. It evolved, layer by layer, century by century. And in 1500, it stood balanced between two worlds, still medieval, yet quietly preparing for modernity. When you walk through London today, through the financial district, along the Thames, past St. Paul's, you are walking above centuries of hidden streets and forgotten lives. Beneath your feet once stood timber houses, markets filled with shouting merchants, guild halls buzzing with negotiation, cathedrals echoing with Latin prayer. London in 1500 was smaller, dirtier, more fragile, but it was already ambitious, already commercial, already restless. It was not yet the center of an empire, but it was becoming the kind of city that could build one. We have just completed a journey through London at the dawn of the 16th century. From the crowded markets of Cheapside to the disciplined authority of Westminster, from the shadowed alleys inside the Roman walls to the restless energy of Southwark. Every street carried the tension of a city about to transform. History often feels distant, but cities remember. Their shapes, their rhythms, their foundations, they endure. What do you think London would look like today if the Reformation had never happened? If the Great Fire had never cleared its medieval streets? Would it still resemble this timber-framed maze? Let us know in the comments which historical city we should reconstruct next. Thank you for stepping back in time with us, and we'll see you in the next restoration of history.